The Atlanta Braves are no-hit through 4 innings en route to a series-losing 9-3 loss to the Giants. Let's talk about it.
This is the Braves Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Atlanta Braves. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into the Braves Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta, where we cover your Atlanta sports teams each and every day. I'm your host. Unfortunately, it's each and every day. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby, author of the Braves Today newsletter over at bravestoday.com. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. That fellow over there is Jake Mastroianni, host of Locked On Braves. You can find him on social media at Shortstop Ball, where he gets great nuggets custom from CJ Nikowski himself. Do us a favor, subscribe to Locked On Braves wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Jake's got a lot of great stuff coming because I'm pretty sure we're going to be pivoting to the trade deadline quickly. Braves dropped series finale 9-3 to the San Francisco Giants. And if nothing else, the reason you need to subscribe to Locked On Braves and listen to Jake is he correctly predicted that Justin Verlander would get his first win of the season when we talked about this last night. Not only did Verlander get the win, Jake, he was no-hitting the Braves through 4 innings. What more can we say about this offense at this point?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of laughing coming into the show, because I'm sitting here looking at this line from Justin Verlander. 5 innings, 1 hit, 5 walks, no earned runs. Like, how unbelievable is it that a starter who throws over 40 pitches in the first inning, and then next thing you know, he's no-hitting you in the 4th inning, and he doesn't give up any runs. He still somehow makes it through 5 innings. Like, how much can we measure this offense? Pitches. Yeah, and how bad this offense has been this year, and how bad they were in this game, especially early on. They did break through finally and get some runs on the board. And you look at it up and down. I mean, there's some guys that had some individual stuff in this game, but it's just, you let a guy throw 40-plus pitches in the first inning and not score a run on him then, but then let him no-hit you for several innings after that. Let him get through 5 innings without giving up a single run. That is really, really hard to do. You got to be a pretty bad offense to let that happen.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It wasn't just a one-hitter and a shutout. Atlanta wasn't even making decent contact. They had 3 hard hit balls in the entire 5 innings. And Strider also only had 3 allowed. And we're going to get to that in a minute, because that home run, I'm still mad about that home run, that Rafi Devers home run. But again, 5 walks to only 3 strikeouts. His ERA is now down to 4.70. This is not the same Justin Verlander. And I don't quite think everybody maybe realizes. I mean, the velocity is okay. He averaged 94.5 today, but he got 5 total whiffs. He couldn't miss bats. You just couldn't do anything with the pitches. And at this point, Andy hit somebody. So he gave out 5 free passes, and Atlanta just refused to cash any of them in. And yes, it was a weird lineup. You didn't have Ronald Acuna Jr. Yeah, supposedly he's not hurt. The Braves just gave him a day off here because with the day off tomorrow, the off day tomorrow, he's off his feet for 48 hours. But I don't know what else to say at this point. And I don't really want to rehash the whole thing. Everybody's tired of hearing this, but these guys just have to be better. There's nothing this has currently constructed. This is not going to work next season.
No, it's not. And things are going to have to be shaken up. Look, I continue to keep trying to hold on to some sort of hope. And, you win the game Friday night against the Yankees and you see how good the offense is looking. And you're thinking, okay, maybe they can get on that giant run that we've been looking for all year. And then they don't. And then they come back against the Giants in that first game. You see the offense, really break out. And you're thinking, okay, maybe this is going to start the run against a team that's coming in struggling right now. And then they drop the next 2 games. Again, I just think we're at the point where this team is bad, and there's no other way that we really can say it. It's just a bad team. Bad teams or good teams don't let things like this happen. They don't blow out a team on the first game of a series and then just get blown out the next 2 or lose in the fashion that they did on that Saturday against the Yankees. You had 2 series at home, yes, against above 500 teams, but you win the first game of both of those series, and you can't find a way to win one of the next two in what should have been some pretty favorable matchups for you. I mean, you didn't see Max Fried in that
I was
Yankee
about
series.
to say,
These
two teams combined to have 4 all-star starting pitchers, and you didn't see any of the 4.
Yeah, I mean, it was right there for them, to make some sort of run out of this, at least win a couple of series against some good teams, and they just failed to do so, which again just points to the fact that it's a bad team. Look, starting pitching isn't great as well, and you got to overcome that. I understand, but it's just, again, there's really nothing else you can say other than this team's just bad, and they got to find a way to shake things up in the offseason. You got to look at the rest of this season and see, okay, who can I work with? Who's part of this future? And who can get going, and then kind of shake up the rest of it. Because it's not fun to sit here and have to talk about these games, certainly. And it's depressing as me as I'm a fan. I love the Braves. I want to see them do well and want to see them win, but it's hard to sit down and watch some of these games, especially when you take Acuna out of it. I mean, Strider, we'll get to him in a minute, but certainly having his ups and downs, and not exactly the most dominant Strider we've seen in the past, but this offense and you look at it at the end of the day, 7 hits and 5 walks. I mean, you had guys get on base, but look at what they did with Olsen today. Walked him 3 times without Acuna behind him there. Not that Drake Baldwin's been any type of slouch, but they'd much rather face the rookie and not pitch to Matt Olson, who ended up getting a hit in this game. Profar was on 2 more times in this game as well. So, I mean, you had some guys getting on base. Michael Harris had another hit. Eli White, who's filling in for Ronald, gets a couple of hits. So, I mean, you had guys do some things up and down the order, but just not enough. 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. I mean, that's better than the 0 for 10 or 1 for 10 we've seen a lot of this season, but 2 extra base hits and just 2 doubles. And that's something we've talked about a lot this year. Where are the home runs for this team? CJ and them talked about it on the broadcast. Yeah, it's great you got all those walks from Verlander early on, but they were taking a lot of first pitch strikes too. They were being very patient, and we've talked about that with their approach this year. It just seems like they're either very patient or they're very aggressive, and there's just kind of no in between, but just no home runs at all in this game, and just not getting the home runs that we expect from this lineup.
Yeah, and I'll point out that you didn't get any of those hits with runners in scoring position until you were down 9-0.
Right.
I mean, those didn't come until that 3-run 7th inning, and there you go. They brought this up on the broadcast. I kind of wanted to ask about this. Do we think that was Marcell Ozuna's final at-bat in Truist Park as a member of the Atlanta Braves? I tend to think the way that this post All-Star game series stretch has gone, 2-4. Again, you avoid 4 All-Star starting pitchers and you still go 2-4. I'd like to think that any sort of hope the front office may have had about the Braves maybe figuring it out is gone. And so I'm leaning towards that was probably his last at-bat in Truist Park as a member of the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. This is not a matter of what can I get for Ozuna. It's just a matter of we need to see what we have future-wise with Drake Baldwin and Sean Murphy and how they can both handle being in the lineup every day and working them in the catcher spot. Ozuna's not part of this future. Maybe they sign him back next year at a $10, $12 million deal or something like that, but he's not part of the future. And it's just best for the Braves future-wise to not have Ozuna the rest of the way. So even if you're giving him up for a panda costume or whatever you got to do, I think you have to move him. I mean, if he's willing to be traded, and it sounds like he wouldn't veto a trade from his comments there, I think you got to move him for just whatever, just for the sake of this team the rest of the year to see what you have with Baldwin and Sean Murphy.
Yeah. All right. In just a second, let's talk about the starting pitching. Let's talk about Spencer Strider and how at least that first home run really wasn't his fault. We'll do that next right here on the Braves Postcast. Do you ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can, whether you're growing your savings, planning a big purchase. Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Because Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. I share finances with my wife. Monarch Money makes it incredibly easy because all of our accounts pull into the same place. I can see what she spends. She can see what I spend. And we are on the same page because we know what has and hasn't been paid and what money is remaining in the budget for that pay period. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Okay, so Spencer Strider goes 5 innings in this one. 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. He really did not have the ability to get his fastball in the zone today. I mean, like half, he threw 65 of them. 51% were in the zone. And you really saw the struggles, especially kind of early. But the home run that Rafi Devers hit, I just have to shout out to Sarah Langs with the MLB. She's the greatest at this kind of stuff. He hits a home run. It was, what was the count here? It was a 3-2 slider that was almost in the dirt, less than a foot off the ground, that he hits for a home run. He didn't even hit it well, 92.5 miles an hour. Definitely some Vlad Guerrero stuff here. Per Sarah Langs of MLB.com, that is the second lowest pitch hit for a home run in baseball this year. Pete Crow Armstrong had one similar to this, a little bit lower. It feels like Strider struggled to execute a bit today, but even when he did execute and get a swing on a pitch that should not even be touched, he got tagged for a home run in this one.
Yeah, definitely not Strider's best performance. Fastball command was just really eluding him, which is kind of crazy to think that he threw 65 of them today for a pitch that he really was struggling with. I don't know why they continue to go with that. Maybe he just didn't have a great feel for anything. It's not like he got a ton of, called strikes on the slider either. He actually got more whiffs on the fastball than he did on the slider, but that's also because he threw it so much more. It was only an 18% whiff rate on his four-seamer and a 33% whiff rate on his slider. So yeah, that's an odd one again with how much he was struggling with the four-seamer that they continued to throw it like that. And it averaged 95.6. That's right on his yearly average, but he only maxed out at 96.9. So he was really having to get up to that velocity. You never know how these early morning games are going to affect pitchers too, not to make an excuse there, but you're out of routine. You gotta get up and get going early on, but it just wasn't there today. And look, I mean, like you said, if that for a normal human being, that's probably a pop up to right field. And maybe he gets through 5 scoreless in this one, but Rafael Devers is just, like Acuna, he's a unicorn. He's a freak of nature, and he's able to, get at least some of the barrel or a good part of the barrel on that baseball. And even at 92 miles per hour, he's able to get it out to the chop house there. So, I give Strider some credit that you only throw really 2 pitches, and one of them you just really didn't have command of at all, and you're still able to get through 5 innings, 3 earned runs. It's just once he hit that home run, with the way the Braves offense was, today and the day before, that was game. I mean, he still got 7 strikeouts on the day, only 3 hard hit balls, like you said, but just not great command of that fastball. And with this offense, I mean, you give up a home run like that and the game's pretty much over. Yeah.
I'll say with Chapman's homer as well. I mean, it was a 2-1 count, fastball kind of up and away on the black. Not an amazing pitch, but not a bad pitch. And Matt Chapman just pokes it the opposite way for a home run. So that's also, I mean, just 2 home runs that I feel like a lot of baseball does not get 2 home runs in those 2 at-bats. But these 2 guys, these 2 guys just happen to kind of get it done there. Okay, so here's the thing. Atlanta now has a 9-game road trip at Rangers, at Royals, at Reds. And one of these is going to be in a racetrack, right? Do we have any expectations at this point for what the Braves do between now and the trade deadline? Like, is there anything that the Braves can do that can not change the trajectory this season, because that's over, but at the very least, is there anything that they can do that can give us some hope for 2026? Does it all depend on the returns that they get in the trades? Is there anything they can do on the field to give us fans a little bit of hope for next season?
I mean, on the field, obviously you want to continue to see some better at bats, specifically from Ozzie and Michael Harris. Those are the 2 key guys going forward. I'm really interested to see after this trade deadline, do they then open it up to some of the young pitchers? Do they replace a Davis Daniel with a Hurston Waldrop? Does J.R. Ritchie get an opportunity maybe after another start or 2 at AAA? It feels like that a lot of teams might wait till after that trade deadline, in case any of those guys are involved in a trade or anything like that. So that's one thing that I'll be watching for as we, in the next week or two, as we get past the trade deadline, is do they start to give some of these younger starters a chance, and these guys like, Davis Daniels and Joey Wentz. Maybe there's something there with Joey Wentz. Do you kind of move on and see what you have with your younger starters? Maybe even a Bryce Elder, replace him, which I know you don't have that many guys that you can
yeah.
injuries, but the main point is just see what you got with some of these younger guys. As far as the trade deadline goes, just to unload it. I mean, these guys that you're not going to have, whether it's Ozuna, Iglesias, I'd try to move an Aaron Bummer if you can, but if the Braves don't use him in high leverage situations, how is that going to be attractive to other teams? But I'd like to get out of some of that money. Not that I think Aaron Bummer's all that bad, but anybody that's not part of your future, just ship them off for whatever you can. Maybe you get a lottery ticket, international prospect type of guy, whatever the case may be. It's not so much the return for me. It's just clearing ways for other players to see what they can do and if they're part of the future or not. That's really the one thing that I'll be looking for at the trade deadline is, can they clear up some space so that we can see some of these younger guys and see what the Braves have?
Yeah. My thought process, I agree there. I want to see these young guys get a chance. I am a little hurt that we're both Auburn guys and you didn't mention Blake Burkhalter as somebody who needs to get some playing time. Yeah. Hurts me a little bit. But no, I agree on Aaron Bummer. I don't think everybody realizes $9.5 million salary for next year. It goes up by like $6 million. And Atlanta has had, I believe it's per either StatCast or Defensive Run Saved, has had the best infield defense in baseball this year. And if what Aaron Bummer does, inducing a lot of ground balls, letting it get put into play, but weak ground ball contact, if Atlanta can't seem to convert that into preventing runs, no other team's going to be able to do it, but maybe somebody thinks they can. And so that's the goal for me is the Aaron Bummer experiment hasn't worked. He has a skill, but even the best infield defense in baseball hasn't been properly able to utilize that to keep runs off the board. So we'll see what happens with him. I agree with you. I want to see a bunch of young pitching prospects. I would not even be opposed to a couple position players. We've seen Nacho now for about a week, and he's supposed to be, I think Fridays, assuming Austin Riley does everything correctly, he'll be back, and Nacho's probably going down. But I want to see like a Carlos Rodriguez. I want to see some way Atlanta can find to get him a little bit of run. Looks like he's been pretty good in Gwinnett. He is on the 40-man roster already, I believe. So you don't have to lose somebody to do that. But I want to see the Braves get a little bit of run for guys like him and just see if you have anything there before we go into the offseason. What we need now is information. So, again, Braves dropped the series finale 9-3 to the San Francisco Giants. That means they have dropped the series. They are off tomorrow. The team is flying tonight to Texas. They start a series on Friday against the Rangers. First pitch, 8:05 p.m. on Friday night. We'll be back with a postcast to break down everything they do, win or lose, on Friday. For Jake Mastroianni, I'm Lindsay Crosby. This has been the Braves Postcast.